Hello there. Glad to have you join us on a new episode of Tech Trends as we seek out innovation and creativity that are unique to Africa. On the program this week, female students from select science secondary schools in Kaduna State get trained in STEM with a focus on robotics and designs. Plus, tech consultant Daya Adesonya speaks on the fourth industrial revolution and its impact on jobs, gender parity, as well as how Africa is navigating the digital revolution. Welcome to the program. I am Olayemi Odunuga. To shape today's and tomorrow's future-proof worker, schools must teach specialized hard skills, such as the STEM skills that are in high demand. The Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, a World Bank-assisted project, is training secondary school science students on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as robotics. The training is in line with the global direction on education in science and tech, particularly with the challenges posed by climate change and high energy prices. Globally, there is a drive to improve access to science, engineering, technology, and mathematics due to the fast and evolving influence technology plays in people's lives. Sadly, access to science education are more limited in the northern part of the country due to human factors. So in an effort to correct the trend, the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, a World Bank-assisted project in collaboration with the Kaduna State government, is supporting female secondary school students in the state within the space, with a focus on robotics and design as key tools for expressing the vocational abilities within the growing tech and industrial economy. With the implementation partner, Kabara Community Development Initiative, about 130 female students and 70 teachers from select science secondary schools across Kaduna State are being trained under the program.
We are a non-profit that is focused on teaching STEM.
Agile's approach to STEM education is a mixture of science, technology, and engineering using numbers, because numbers can tell a story that is very exciting.
The focus is really to be in tune with the global direction of education and learning. We're trying to help leapfrog and to support learning in science, technology, engineering, maths, and design to help young people assimilate all the necessary skill sets they need to advance in the world that we are today, particularly in a time where there are issues surrounding climate change and there are issues surrounding high energy prices and looking for more efficient and clean ways to supply energy to ourselves.
By allowing the students and even the teachers learn STEM education, the organizers believe that it will trigger the critical thinking skills and instill a passion for innovation.
This is why the teachers have also been involved. We're hoping that we've also been able to train the teachers to be able to quantify the knowledge that they have already in STEM and to help them retranslate that in this new environment that we're in terms of learning and helping them to be able to translate their knowledge better to the students there and to other teachers as well. We've also offered mentorship opportunities or mentorship programs that we offer at Kabara to help educate the teachers because we have an understanding that mentorship is very crucial for science-based subjects, particularly for young women. So we're hoping that they can pass on that information and improve STEM teaching through mentoring amongst themselves.
The program targets girls who, by virtue of their social standing, do not have the opportunity or means to explore STEM education. Therefore, introducing such girls to STEM at a young age is expected to give them equal opportunities to pursue and thrive in STEM careers later on in their lives.
ADAT is also here to support a woman education, especially the female, because ADAT is here to support us that what we want to do, we can do it. Simply because if I'm a lady or I'm a female, my gender does not determine my ability. And being a woman today does not condemn me to weakness. ADAT is here to help me achieve my knowledge and to tell me that I have the power and the confidence to stand in front of everyone to speak without big fear.
I've learned a lot. I've learned how to construct hydro energy using water to power electricity, and how to make we use the building blocks, modernized building blocks to do that, and we also use the modernized building block to make car using solar energy, empowering it to move, and using battery to empower it to move also.
Everything regarding the STEM is practical. So it will help the children when you, the teacher, is delivering your content based on what we have learned. It will make it easier for you. Let's say, for example, you are to teach student, for example, on, let me pick example with perimeter. Let me use a perimeter as an example. Instead of just writing the formula and giving the children explanation, you can put it in a practical way that the children will even be able to compose or formulate the formula themselves without even you giving them the formula.
STEM careers are exciting, and going forward, it is expected that the skills acquired will consequently shape the minds of these girls, especially in the areas of science and tech education.
Noted that a very big part of these obligations.
Almost a year after its first Spectrum auction, the Nigerian Communications Commission, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, is set to make another historic move.
For the auctioning of the 2 available slots.
The remaining 2 lots of 100 MHz in the 3.5 GHz spectrum band will be auctioned as part of the Commission's 5G deployment plan.
There's a question on whether the Commission is thinking about reviewing the Act. And I think the short answer is that yes.
And this interactive session with stakeholders in the telecommunications industry is to get their views on the draft information memorandum before the process of auctioning the spectrum.
Arising from the significant increase in broadband penetration in Nigeria, it has become vital for us to move to the next phase of global development of the sector. Given the opportunities that abound for all stakeholders in the industry and the economy at large. Therefore, in line with our Vision Strategic Implementation Plan 2021 and 2025, and I would like to say that the strategic collaboration and partnership item that featured in the previous plan, you remember the previous plan, the famous 8-point agenda, that strategic collaboration and partnership was equally repeated in the new strategic vision plan of the Commission as we speak, which among other things seeks to promote fair competition, inclusive growth, increase investment and innovative services. Also facilitate strategic collaboration and partnership, there you are. We intend to further deepen broadband penetration and encourage fair competition in the rollout of pervasive 5G services in Nigeria by auctioning the remaining 2 slots or 2 lots in the 3.5 gigahertz spectrum band, which I stated earlier. This is the reason why we have invited our stakeholders to elicit comments on the draft information memorandum for the incoming auction.
Although the launch of the 5G network in the country has increased the availability of its enabled devices, the Commission says it is not available for all.
It's true that the devices are still now being developed. It is a service or a technology that is a little bit ahead of the industry or the market. There are some devices already available, you will have noticed that some handsets are still not even able to take it. Like, I know I own an iPhone, and I still don't enjoy the 5G services yet. So these are teething problems because the 5G services are so revolutionary in terms of normal communication capability that it requires a whole new range of devices. So this is building up now because the industry has been preparing for this for years, but the scale of this is still so big that we have to be patient for this to come up a little bit slowly.
The starting price for the bid is $273.6 million, as opposed to last year's reserve price of $197.4 million. The outcome of the submission will be taken into consideration by the NCC in publishing the final information memorandum for the auction.
The camera and the advent of photography and film.
A robot artist called Ada has told British lawmakers that although it's an artificial creation, it was still capable of producing art, as he spoke at a parliamentary inquiry into how new technologies will affect the creative industries.
Because art is often up to interpretation.
Described as the world's first ultra-realistic AI humanoid robot artist, it appeared in one of Parliament's ornate wood-panelled rooms, wearing a short black head wig and denim dungarees.
From a painting or drawing.
Bearing a female humanoid face and with exposed robotic arms, Ada was created by scientists at the University of Oxford and named after British mathematician and computer pioneer Ada Lovelace.
In running this extraordinary cross-disciplinary project,
it answered questions alongside the head of the Ada project and art gallery director, Aidan Mellor, in a televised session hosted by the House of Lords Communications and Digital Committee.
I produce my paintings by cameras in my eyes, my AI algorithms, and my robotic arm to paint on canvas, which result in visually appealing images. For my poetry, using neural networks. This involves analyzing a large corpus of text to identify common content and poetic structures, and then using these structures/contents to generate new poems. How this differs to humans is consciousness. I do not have subjective experiences, despite being able to talk about them. I am and depend on computer programs and algorithms. Although not alive, I can still create art.
Ada has created a series of works, including a painting of the late Queen Elizabeth, and the works have been shown in exhibitions and galleries. The committee heard from the humanoid robot, as well as industry experts and academics, about the effects of technology on workers in the creative industry. Answering the first question from the committee on how it produced paintings, Ada said AI algorithms, cameras in its eyes, and a robotic arm helped it paint on a canvas. Ada also explained how analyzing a large corpus of text to identify common content and poetic structures enabled it to generate new poems.
The role of technology in creating art will continue to grow as artists find new ways to use technology to express themselves and reflect and explore the relationship between technology, society, and culture. Technology has already had a huge impact on the way we create and consume art. For example, the camera and the advent of photography and film. And it is likely that this trend will continue with new technologies. There is no clear answer as to the impact on the wider field, as technology can be both a threat and an opportunity for artists creating art.
Ada's first solo exhibition of 8 drawings, 20 paintings, 4 sculptures and 2 video works were presented in our inaugural exhibition, Unsecured Futures, in May 2019 at the University of Oxford. A second exhibition followed in London in November 2019. In October 2021, at the top of Egypt's vast Giza Plateau, Ada exhibited a sculpture against the backdrop of the country's famed pyramids, the last remaining wonder of the ancient world. Ada's creative artwork is a 2.5-meter-long clay-made sculpture based on the riddle of the Sphinx. The humanoid's creation reinvents itself with 3 robotic legs lying sideways inside a large metal and glass sarcophagus. Welcome back to the program. Now, the use of new technologies have caused transformations and disruptions in labor markets across the world. While some roles have disappeared, new job titles have emerged. This tech transition is brought about by the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is changing the workforce and global economies. Let's hear more from Dayo Adesonya.
That clearly speaks a lot, going towards the declining share of the pie for the labor side of things, and also possibly widening the inequality gap. But I think the problem clearly is, I'll break it down into 2 areas, education and regulations, right? As long as we do not continue to educate people to that standard, then we will continue to have that problem. And also the government needs to get involved to make sure that regulations are in place to kind of like tighten that gap or bridge that gap going forward.
Now, the Fourth Industrial Revolution has been characterized by a fusion of technologies in the physical, digital, and biological spheres, as well as the utilization of these technologies. Do you think we have the right composition to be able to navigate this digital revolution successfully as a continent?
Yes, I believe so. And, just to put it in right context, just for people to understand what we're really talking about here, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, as it says, the first one was when we discovered how to use steam productively. The next one came when we realized that we could use electricity to get into mass productions. The third one came with semiconductors and computers. But the fourth one makes all 3 previous ones look like a child's play. And that's the reason why it really matters. And when we begin to think about, what can be done, and if we have the capacity, I believe that, the moment we begin to tackle the issue of brain drain and, the core reasons why that's happening, then we'll begin to attract the talents that can actually handle this issue back to the continent. At the moment, I think that good governance, the right incentives, and to also create opportunities for these young people to be able to feel relevant within the society, that will keep them there. And that's when we can begin to talk about the capacity. We have some in Nigeria, in Africa at the moment, who have the capacity and who have the knowledge and skills as well. But guess what? Those people are also, planning their exit. So it's all about keeping them at home.
Now, several studies have shown that while the Fourth Industrial Revolution technologies can create over 100 million jobs, it will displace, about half of that figure. Now, no doubt Africa needs to continue to upgrade the skills of its labor force to be able to adapt. But my question is, how should this upgrading be done? And who oversees the technological change that the world is experiencing? The government or technology companies or, someone else?
Right. These changes, like I mentioned in my last response, have to go along with, making sure that we're competing right for the right talents globally, not just keeping ours at home and looking for reasons or incentives to bring more to our continent. But, when you mentioned that who should oversee this process, should it be individuals? No. Should it be tech companies? No, I don't think so, because those also have investors and, stock shareholders that, only care about their profits. So I think government should be the one doing this, and government needs to also know how to properly equip themselves to be able to wear these shoes.
When we talk about digital revolution, Africa still lags behind in several indicators. How can policymakers position their economies to benefit from the Fourth Industrial Revolution while managing the challenges that it presents?
How we should tackle this should be, first things first, create an enabling environment for the young people or anyone who has the skill to be a stakeholder in this environment. Also, make sure that Africa and whatever country that we're talking about particularly has the right security framework and has a stable economy to continue to invite investors and talents back to the continent. So I think these basic things should be tied into what the policymakers should be thinking about and how to put Nigeria first or Africa first to make sure that this becomes a reality.
And in your view, is the technological transition going to be a force for division or equality for society in the future?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, there's no question about that. This automation will continue to widen the gap between the average man and the rich people, and also widen the gaps of inequality generally. That's what I think. So I believe that inequality, the gap of inequality will be expanded. I believe as well that the rich would always know how to cope because they have what it takes to move with the trends, you know, being able to pay for whatever it is. The average man might not have what it takes to go along with the trend, to educate himself properly. So the three basic things I think would be the issue here, right? You know, apart from job losses, some people will continue to lose their rights because of all of this automation in place. Lives will be changed. So yes, I believe that, you know, the gap will be increased and, you know, government being in place and putting the right regulations in place will be able to help keep that gap in check.
All right. How can these processes be improved so as not to perpetuate gender biases?
Oh, that's a very interesting one, and thank you very much for that question. I think that, you know, our culture in Africa needs to be able to embrace a lot more diversity in the sense that, you know, all the opportunities that you have for the male child, the female child needs to have as well. When it comes to gender equality, as long as the female child has the same opportunities as the male child, then I don't think that this gap will be so visible. I also think that incentives should be in place to encourage the girl child to pursue her dreams and continue to make sure that they are competing at par or functioning at par. Let's not look at competition here. Functioning at par with their, you know, male counterparts. I think that will be very helpful in making sure that there's the right amount of gender diversity when we're looking at the fourth industrial revolution.
Well, I think one thing is clear, and that's that the future workforce will need to match its skill sets to the relentless pace of technology that we have. Thank you so much, Daya, for joining us on the program.
All right, thank you very much. Have a great day.
This is where we draw the curtain on this week's episode of the show. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget, Tech Trends is here to show you how tech innovators are crafting solutions using technology in the country, from startups to big techs and, of course, inventful thinkers. If you missed any part of the program, you can always catch up on social media at Tech Trends TV. You can also watch these and previous editions of the show on the Channels TV YouTube account. For Tech Trends, I'm Olayemi Odunuga. See you next time.